What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Enshrouded video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you my ultimate max level wizard build in the game. I'm going to be trying to group the skill points I use in level 1 to 10, 10 to 20, and then 20 to 25, just so it's easier to follow. And then depending on what level you are within the game, depends on which skills I think you should have. Now, as always, this is just my own personal opinion based on how I play the game. You might have a different opinion of what skills you should unlock depending on where you are in the game and how you actually play the game. You might like a more tanky sort of wizard, where I just like to go full on magic. I have seen a lot of people talk about these particular skills on screen that you'll see I'm cycling through, and I don't particularly rate them. Now, I've seen a lot of people recommend these sort of battle mage tank type skills on this particular tree that I'm cycling through, and I don't really rate them. And the main reason for this is if you actually look through some of the skills, they do mention using a melee weapon to give you a boost, which in this build we're not going to do, so it seems a bit pointless selecting them. For example, you've got the evasion attack. When equipped with a melee weapon, you can perform an evade attack which dashes towards the enemy and deals more weapon damage with left mouse button, and that is for 4 skill points. And in this build, we're not going to use a melee weapon, so it seems pointless activating that skill to then get to the next set of skills when we aren't even going to be using a melee weapon. Again, the next skill mentions using a melee weapon to get a boost. You do then have a spirit point, which would be quite helpful for our mana. And obviously you don't have to choose the left hand side if you get to this particular point where you select the spirit skill. On the right hand side of this particular tree, there are some skills which kind of assist healing, but we are going to get skills further around the tree which are going to help our healing when we are a wizard. So I don't think this tree here is really worth it. It's a lot of points really for some skills which aren't even going to affect us at all. For example, the first 2 cost 7 skill points, and they aren't going to benefit us at all because we're not going to be using a melee weapon. So I'd recommend staying away from this tree. But obviously, if you want to use a melee weapon, go ahead and get them. They are decent skills. So for levels 1 to 10, these are the skills that I recommend unlocking first. You can do them in any order as long as you can obviously access them on the skill tree. I'd start off by working my way towards double jump. That's purely because it's going to help you get around the map a lot easier. So you want to go with endurance, then you want to go runner, and then you want to get yourself to double jump, and that's all we'll be getting on this side of the skill tree. The rest of our skill points are going to be going into the sort of wizardy, magey, magic style type skills down in the bottom right hand corner of the skill tree. Once you have those, I recommend going for intelligence on the healer tree, healer, then blink to be able to dodge out of situations quite easily and also very quickly. Then you want to go for healer 2, intelligence, water aura, and then the waters of life. And this is to sustain our survivability, really. This is to keep us alive. This is to make sure that we can heal, because as a wizard, you are going to be quite soft compared to the tanks in the game, especially with the armor we're going to be wearing. It doesn't have huge resistances compared to some of the other more tanky armors in the game. Then once you have those, I'd recommend going for spirit on the wizard tree. This is the way. You can also go for quick charge. We're going to need that to make sure we can fire our staff charges a lot faster. Then you want to go for spirit, arsonist, and pyromaniac. Now, that's my personal preference to go down the sort of fire skills, because that's the magic I like to use within the game. It's obviously just down to your preference. If you like the fire spells within the game, or the fire ones, go through the fire route. If you like the ice ones, go through the ice. And if you like the lightning, then obviously choose those. It's just down to what you like. Now for levels 11 to 20, these are the skills you're going to want to choose based on this guide if this is what you're wanting to do. I go for Radiant Aura and Sun Aura just to make sure I can do a bit more damage to fell foes within the game. Then you want to jump over to the Battle Mage tree and unlock Intelligence, Arcane Deflection, Intelligence again, Unity, Wand Master, and Sting. Now, the reason I choose these is to basically boost my wand damage. The weapons you're going to want to be using in the game are wands and staff charges if you are using this build. So having more wand damage is a lot easier and faster to kill enemies than having to charge up your staff every single time, especially when you have a limit on staff charges at the lower levels. Then you want to hop on over to the wizard tree and unlock intelligence, wizard, chain hit, mass destruction, and then intelligence again. Now, this is all to do with boosting our critical hits within Enshrouded with our magic weapons, which are our wands and our staffs and staff charges. The more critical hits we do, the more damage we're going to do to our enemies within the game, and the faster we are going to finish them off, which is always handy. Especially, like I said, this wizard build isn't very tanky, so you will take a lot of damage if you are hit. Then for levels 21 to 25, these are the skills you are going to want to unlock. So first of all, you want to complete the battle mage tree by getting spirit if you don't have it already, and then you want to get intelligence just to boost those mana and magic damage spell stats basically. Then you want to head on over to the trickster tree and pretty much unlock every single thing on it. These skills are spirit, counter strike, intelligence and spirit, then begone, then intelligence and spirit again, then terror, and then arcane concentration. These skills again are just mainly about increasing our damage and critical hit chance and damage as well as boosting our mana by getting the spirit skills and our general magic damage by getting the intelligence skills. Then you want to head back to the wizard tree and get yourself dark arts and abyss. The reason for this is to increase our shroud damage, because the best wand I found in the game is actually the helix wand, which deals shroud damage. So the more we can increase the damage that one does, the better, because it's going to allow us to do more damage to the enemies in the game. And then you want to come on over to the healer tree and basically unlock every skill on the healer tree again. And these are the spirit skill, the martyr skill, and the exalted skill. And this is again to increase our mana and our intelligence, and also allows us to help our allies, where if we die, they are healed by our death. Then you can, if you want to, unlock the intelligence skill again to increase our magic damage, the shroud filter skill to increase our time that we can spend within the shroud, and if you unlock heal and revive, you can also get yourself another spirit skill, which will increase our mana again. Then the final skill I unlock is the updraft skill. That's because I have 4 skill points left, and that's what this one costs, and just helps us stay in the air longer with our best way of traversing the map, which is the glider. Once you've unlocked these skills that I've recommended in the game, you should have yourself 16 spirit points, which is going to help boost our mana through the roof, and you should have up to 20 intelligence points depending on your flame level and that sort of thing within the game, which is going to increase your magic damage, which is going to improve our build overall, because it's going to allow us to do more magic damage within the game, which is the main point of this build. Now, I wasn't going to go over my armor and weapons that I use for my build, since I've covered it many times throughout my videos on Enshrouded, but for anyone who doesn't know, I've gone with the full Elder armor set, and the Elder hat gives you 28 physical resistance, 42 magical resistance, plus 15% magical critical strike chance, plus 12% critical strike damage. The Elder chest gives you 56 physical resistance, 113 magical resistance, 120 health, and 96 mana. The Elder gloves give you 14 physical resistance, 28 magical resistance, 9% damage against magical foes, and 12% magic damage multiplier. The Elder trousers give you 28 physical resistance, 70 magical resistance, 36 mana, and 2 mana regeneration. And the Elder boots give you 14 physical resistance, 28 magical resistance, plus 4 mana regeneration, and minus 120 mana regeneration delay. Overall, you can see in the top corner we get 140 physical resistance and 281 magical resistance. The magical resistance is quite good, but the physical resistance isn't the best in the game. I've gone with the Ethereal Plane Shield as well. It gives you 9 block, 87 parry power, 130 max durability, and plus 10% shroud resistance, but you can use whatever shield you like in the game. I'm also using the Shroud Weaver staff. Mine's level 35 because I got it before they patched the chest it came in, which gives you plus 12 fire magic damage twice. It's precise, vicious, and it has recharge as well. I've covered this staff in detail in a previous video, so I won't go into what those things mean. Then I've got the Commander Ring, which gives you 30 mana and 30 health, and a Ring of Rapacity, which gives you minus 20 mana, but gives you plus 20 mana regeneration. Then for my 2 wands that I carry around, just because I don't like them breaking when I'm out and about, I've gone with the Helix wand, which gives you plus 1 mana regeneration. It gives you 300 max durability, 19% overcharge, 0.6% attack speed, and then gives you plus 9 shroud magic damage 5 times. So it's a very powerful wand, and it's probably the best one I found in the game. Then the wand I use for any enemies which are resistant to shroud damage is the Scorching wand. It gives 47 base damage. It gives plus 2 mana regeneration, 250 max durability, 11% overcharge, 0.6 attack speed, and gives you plus 9 fire magic damage, plus 14 ice magic protection, gives you plus 9 fire magic damage again, and then mana leech which is on hit, leech 5% damage as mana, and that's twice. And the staff charges I use with my Shroud Weaver staff are the Eternal Acid Bite, since it's the most powerful staff charge in the game and seems to one-hit every single enemy. But if enemies are out of range of my Eternal Acid Bite, I use the Eternal Fireball, since it's still a very good staff charge. It's not as powerful as the Eternal Acid Bite, but with the skills I have, it boosts the damage and seems to one-hit most lower level enemies within the game. Not the level 30 enemies, but the lower level ones. It burns through them quite quickly. I'll admit now, the build is not the best when it comes to trying to stay alive. If you are up close and personal with the enemies and they are using melee combat on you, you will take a lot of damage, but with the skills we have, we do tend to heal ourselves quite a bit. The main thing to do with this build is to try and keep your enemies at range so you don't take melee damage and you can hit them with your strong staff charges before they even get anywhere near you. And then if they do, you've got your ones which still do a high amount of damage. They aren't as strong as the staffs, but they are still good enough to deal with most of the enemies within the game. So again, I've said many times throughout this video, please bear in mind that this is my own personal opinion. You may have different opinions on what works best for you and your playstyle within the game, but for me, this is the best build for a wizard within Enshrouded. But that is it for today's video, so please do let me know down in the comment section below what you think of this build and what your build is in the game. If you have enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, make sure to smash a like on it to show support for the game on the channel. And if you are new to the channel and you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful, make sure to subscribe to be kept up to date with all future releases. But other than that, we'll see you in the next video.